Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hammer Podcast. Today is February 27th, 2021, and I'm speaking with a bunch of guys today. We got Alex. Alex went to the Agape Boys Ranch from 2017, 2018. We have Cody. Cody went to the Agape Boys Ranch from 2010 to 2013. And, of course, our special guest, James Griffey, who was there 98 to 2002. It's good to have you guys on the podcast, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's good to be here.
Glad to be here.
Wonderful.
I'm waiting.
Yes. So, Cody, we're going to start with you. Go ahead and start. What got you set there, and we'll go from there.
So, I came from a mother who didn't really care about me, didn't really care about me being in school, and I got sent to live with my dad and my stepmom, and I never got along with my parents, and I would always refuse what they would do. I'd never listen, and I was doing bad in school. And there was one day where I was talking to my dad, and I was in the truck with him, and he was like, how do I get you to listen? I was just like, why don't you just send me to a military school so I don't have to see you? And I just slammed the car door, and then a couple weeks later, they sent me down, and they had my uncle with me too, and they're like, we got to tell you something. And it was around probably 7 o'clock or so, the day before I got sent there. They're like, we're going to send you a place called Agape. And obviously, I'm excited about it, unlike other students, because I don't know about it yet. I think boarding schools like the Nickelodeon show Zoe 101. So obviously, I'm excited. Yeah. And so I go to bed that night, and we wake up at like probably 2 a.m. to drive to Missouri. And, I'm asking my parents a couple questions, and I'm like, is there any girls there? They're like, no. And I'm just like thinking in my head when I'm asking these questions, I'm like, oh God, I don't want to be here. So long story short, I get there, and Scott arrives at the door with 2 students named Keenan and Oscar. And Oscar ended up being my guide. And, we're touring the campus and viewing everything. Everything looks peachy key. Everything looks great to the parents. And, a lot of people don't say this. They do a great job presenting to the parents when they're ready to send their kid to Agape. Like, they do a phenomenal job because you don't see what happens when you're in the program. And I say goodbye to my parents, and, they sign the year that I'm there, and I go to the intake room, which they commonly refer to as Pat Palace on here, and Brother Lopez is doing my intake. They shave my head, put me in a orange shirt, and all the stuff that new kids would be put in. And while I'm there, I'm just like, what did I just do? What did I just sign myself up for?
Willingly, right?
And I'm just crying the whole time. And I'm just upset. And I was kind of like this for 2 weeks. And a lot of times when I first got there, a lot of students would pick on me and make fun of me. Even staff members would. And it would just tear me down a lot. And,
how old were you at the time you got there?
I was 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I went through a lot. And sorry if I choke up on here. It's just,
it's okay, man.
When I revisit these situations, there's a reason why I haven't spoke about it in so long. And, there is a couple staff members who I'm going to talk about on here.
Okay.
Whatever order y'all want to do.
Okay, so let's do this. That was your intake. So, Alex, what got you sent there?
Well, I grew up in a small town, basically, I guess less than 1,000 people in it. Everybody knows everybody. You can't sneak out in the middle of the night and drive down the road without old lady up the street hearing that engine revving and saying, "Oh, that's that crow boy." uh, so yeah, just I guess it would have been summer 2016. I went to a summer camp and I wound up getting kicked out for dipping tobacco. Ironic. So following that, just sneaking out that summer, just doing really, really dumb shit, not wouldn't really want my kid doing. It's kind of into this 80s punk rock scene, thinking I was Vince Neil from Motley Crue jumping around singing "Girls, Girls, Girls." So anyway, we'll bypass all that. So I guess it would have been January of 2017. I went to Agape we went to, I knew I was going there from about October, just kind of, whatever. Fuck you guys, I don't give a fuck, just send me there, So anyway, I got there and it was Sheldon. I believe he's been on here several times. Him, a student by the name of Keenan, and a student by the name of Stewart did my intake, and I had really puffy hair, kind of sticking up, kind of curled up like a pompadour, like Elvis Presley. They shaved that glorious thing off, and then fast forward about, I'd say probably 2 hours, and somebody put the words in my mouth when they said, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from South Carolina." They said, "Oh, so you're racist." You can already see where this is going.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So long story short, my 17-year-old young self got the living daylights beat out of him.
For being racist, even though you weren't.
For being racist. Yeah.
Just because where you're from.
Because, yeah, I guess that's just how the world is today.
Jeez.
Some of my best friends I have right now are black. I have a buddy who lives right behind me. I'm currently stationed in Fort Hood, Texas. I'd give my life for that dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, just putting crazy words in mouths.
yeah. That's the culture.
Was this
now.
student?
Oh yeah,
was it students or staff that were doing this?
It was students.
Okay.
And then they wound up. Julio, I believe he's been on here several times. Wound up locking me in the gym with another student, and just letting him beat the living daylights out of me.
What ethnicities was the other student?
Excuse me?
Was he white with the other student, or did they like? I'm wondering
He
if like
he was Jamaican. So
so the staff knew this was going on.
oh
and they,
yeah,
Oh yeah.
without a doubt.
Man.
So then
goodness.
they took me upstairs and to the dorm floor. They call it. It's just one big room. I'd say the beds aren't even 5 feet apart. It's just one big room full of bunk beds with really, really crappy mattresses. Julio threw a blue pad on the floor and said, "You're sleeping here tonight." In my head, I'm thinking, "Oh wow, I'm sleeping on a blue mat."
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So we went downstairs, and I believe the staff that was there was several other students there. I think they had the flu or something. Ice cold showers. I guess they hadn't fixed the water heater at the time. I mean, I guess it is Missouri. You're going to have pipes busting everywhere. So
Yeah.
that's about the extent of my intake. I don't want to go too far.
Right. You're welcome to Agape beating, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is the school that says we don't do corporate punishment. It's right in the handbook.
Oh
yeah.
No,
yeah.
we don't lay a hand on these kids. We're trained by some institution not to do that, and they're doing it. So,
No.
lie number
Let,
one.
let me go ahead and touch up on that and give you a story. I'm gonna jump forward real quick while I'm thinking about it. There was this kid by the name of Brandon. I believe he was from God, what's that country's name? Somewhere down there, close to South Trinidad. He had really messed up teeth, always having seizures and everything, and some other kids were picking on him. Y'all can already tell where this is going based on some of the other podcasts we've had.
Yeah.
I've seen. So they wound up in. I heard screams from this kid that did not sound anything like him. They restrained this kid because he was getting beat on and he was going to defend himself. They restrained this kid for probably an hour and a half on tile floor. This kid is having seizures. And what's funny is we were in the dining room. They have, the square tables they have.
Yeah.
We were all in there. Jim and Kathy, owners of the school there, they were sitting right there while this kid was having these brutal screams, being punished, restrained for something, defending himself.
Right.
You have staff members over here with their kids, and nobody's doing anything about it. Talking about screams that I can still hear those screams today.
Blood curdling screams.
Well,
Yeah.
no, like times 10.
Because it's a mixture of because being there and hearing the kids that go through that, it's a mixture of like you're saying, he was crying, probably wanted help. He's probably in serious pain, but also scream of just frustration of being helpless and nothing you could do. And I mean, just that feeling, that poor kid, man, just that feeling.
You take a kid this 5'9", weighs maybe 160 pounds, and you have a 200-pound man on him on one side, probably a 300-pound man on the back of him. And
Yeah.
where's the cutoff line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When does staff there say this is enough?
They don't.
Right.
That's the
It's
problem.
not.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Cody,
Yeah.
what did you experience there after your intake?
So there's staff members there that really just entreated the students like they basically didn't matter, and we always did something wrong. I remember one staff member in particular that always gave me, out of all the 3 years that I was there, one staff member gave me a living hell. That his name was Brother Steve. He was the grandson of Jim. And I remember my first week there. We were on a rock hauling crew, and the person watching me, we're picking up rocks. We're hauling it from one side to another, and obviously my first month I keep on crying, and he keeps on getting annoyed by that. And he takes me to Brother Steve, and he's like, "This kid won't stop crying." Brother Steve told me, "Get in push-up position." And so I'm in push-up position, and he puts his foot on my back, pushing down really hard, and I keep on falling down continuously. And he's like, "You got to get up. You got to get up. Stay in push-up position." And I'm just crying and upset, and he's yelling in my face. And then, this is going on for probably 30 minutes, and he gets in my ear and tells me, "If you fall down one more time, I'm gonna call staff and they're gonna restrain you." And obviously, I get scared, and I have the strength to hold on to whatever time limit he had me in push-up position, and I get up And, you know, that was the one abuse that I went through with him that still fucks me up to this day. And I can also tell another story. You know, he had a group of students that he liked, and the rest of the students he could give a rat's ass about. Many students on here that we're here from would tell you that. And he told a group of students a story about him having sex with his wife to students. These are minors and kids that you're supposed to be mentoring,
Right.
and is setting a good example. But he's like talking about having sex with his wife to students. Like, I get it, we're all men, we talk about stuff, but the fact that he's in a position where he's in charge of us, he's supposed to set an example. And here's the fucked up thing about it. I heard a captain and a student talking about it, and I overheard them. And later that day, the captain comes up to me and he tells me, "Hey, you know what we were talking about at lunch?" And I was like, "Yeah. Brother Steve said if you say one thing about it, he's going to make your life a living hell, and you're going to be in brown shirt scrubs wearing airs." And, you know, he always bullied me. He always mistreated me. He always never treated me like a human being. And I always wanted his respect and wanted his attention, but, you know, with a lot of people, it's just...
This brother Steve, is he the one that had the bearded lady?
No, that was Brother Scott. Or Scott. Brother Scott, sorry. Brother Scott.
Yeah.
Yes, that angel.
Yeah.
That bearded lady. Yeah.
But the thing that you're 13 years old, like, right? So, like, 13 years old, you get to school. It's not what you're expecting it to be. You're crying. You're a child. You miss your parents. You miss your family. You're being treated as though you're like this 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid, and held to the same standards. Being put in a push-up position, being threatened, and by these people that are supposed to be overseeing you, the adults in your life. Yeah. Like, dude, I don't blame you for crying and being like an emotional wreck, and then not being able to even experience that, being punished or being emotional. Like,
yeah.
What?
There's no shame in crying, man. There's no shame in
that. You know,
I was a kid.
You know, I cried so much at Agape, I can't cry anymore. I can't cry in a way that, like, when I get upset about something, like, for example, my grandmother dying or one of my best friends dying, I couldn't even get myself to do it because, you know, I think I cried so much at Agape that people just said, stop crying, stop crying. I can't express myself in a way that normal humans can.
Right.
So fucked up. I'm not saying you're fucked up, but I'm saying that what happened has affected you all. It's like, how old are you now?
I am 23, about to be 24.
So a decade later.
Yeah,
right?
I still have issues with it, and that's why I'm here. And to tell students, former students, and parents looking to get their kids help, this is not the place you want to send your kid to.
Right.
This is the reason why I'm on this podcast.
Well, like I told the guys in the last podcast, I said, you know, there are licensed, credible, registered counselors out there that you can go to if you're having issues with your kids. You know, and it might cost you less money, I'm sure. But also spend time with your kids. You know, Colton was saying, take them fishing, you know, take them hunting, do something with them. You know, occupy their time. Make them feel like they're wanted. You know what I mean?
Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, the kid's going to feel unloved, unwanted, and then he's going to start acting out.
Yeah.
So, Alex, what were some of your experiences there? Or what did you see, or what was done to you? Besides the beating, of course, in the basketball court.
I can remember this time in Browntown. They have the dorm floor, and they have kind of this back little section. I believe everybody is familiar with the back stairs.
I don't think I've heard that mentioned before.
The back stairs, it's probably 78 stairs. They had us go up and down these stairs all morning long. So you're looking at about 4 hours.
Oh, we're just running up and down stairs.
Up and down stairs.
What if you stop though? Well, I mean, you got to get tired at some point.
I've always been pretty cocky, so I said, you know what, I'm not doing this. So I did wind up getting restrained. I told the staff member, I said, dude, I'm not doing this. This is a joke.
Yeah.
So I had probably 4 staff members restrain me for, you're looking at probably an hour.
Because you wouldn't do the stair. Were you
because
threatening them?
I mean, you've been doing stairs for, hell, 2 hours. I mean, you expect your legs to get tired, you know?
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's dark, it's hot. So
You just said I'm not doing it, and they restrained you because you said no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
or did you
exactly.
threaten them? Did you get violent
No.
with them?
no, not at all. No.
There you go.
I will say, you know, they in previous podcasts they have said they give you 2 measly cups of water at lunch, water fountain. You know, I've been
Right.
through Army Ranger selection. Didn't make it. They make us wear a Camelback. Pretty sure everybody knows what a Camelback is. About yay big. You wear it on your
Right.
back, full of water.
Water bladder, yeah.
Yes. They make us drink out of that in selection, Army basic training, anything that has to do with physical exercise. So you will not dehydrate and pass out, you know.
Yeah.
Agape doesn't do that. They give you a 30-second water break and 2 measly cups of water at lunch.
Right. But that's not to say that they're stopping you in the 4 hours of doing stairs to do water breaks. Like the water breaks are even when you're doing the PT and everything at Agape, it's at their leisure, right? Whenever they feel you deserve a water break, or if they forget it, right? It's no set schedule, huh?
I will say some of the workouts in Browntown, equivalent, if you were to compare that to 2019 Army basic training, I would take Army basic training over Agape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
If that gives you any idea of the,
right.
yeah.
You know, the one thing Agape doesn't realize is you can't use military style workout, or even
No,
worse
not
than
at
a military style workout, on a 13 or 14-year-old,
No.
Yeah.
as you would with grown men. You can't do that because it's
No.
not, you know, their stamina is not the same as a full-grown man.
No.
Right.
But you know, they're stupid.
What
Yeah.
you two, what would you say the most push-ups you did in one session was in Agape? How long were you worked out for? The biggest time frame.
Oh my gosh.
Let me think about that.
Yeah, I know. Because I remember one time there was a big problem at the school, like where we got a bunch of people were in trouble and they're trying to get everyone to rat on everybody. So they had us like out doing an up-down workout, like, you know, doing up-downs and push-ups and doing jumping jacks for like a long time. But I think the most push-ups I got I had 1,000. It was like 1,400 push-ups I had to do from Friday night to Sunday night over, you know, like, and I had to do those before Monday morning, or it didn't count that I got them done. And the ones I didn't, I had to start over because I got caught cheating at school. But yeah, no, I don't know what about you, Cody?
There were a couple. I'd say when I first got there, the first year, it wasn't as bad as you describe it. Like probably, I've done 50 sets of push-ups. They actually made me do 100 one time, and the workouts, I would say probably the worst workouts were Brother Burton when he would do them. When he would call, I remember one time in the learning center, someone made a noise, and he was like, "Who was that?" And nobody would confess, so he's like, "Okay, we're going to the gym. Everybody go out." And we're just there for an hour, just doing like 8 counts, basically doing jumping jack, squat, push up for an hour. And after that, I would just say, man, I've never been more tired in my life.
And this is the reason why James has the body of a Greek god.
I'm trying to get there.
That's why he
No,
has that
no.
Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime physique, man. All those push-ups.
No, I will tell you this though. Like at 37, going 38 this year, right? So it's been what 20 years since I was at Agape. I could still do about maybe if I really push myself, 50 perfect push-ups, arms touching the sides,
Yep.
straight up and down, not touching them. But like I don't know if that's something to be proud of. That's like that instilled it in you. But still, it's like working out these kids, like you're saying, for these hours at a time.
Yeah.
With no water breaks.
You're at that point. You're looking at dehydration
Yeah.
and the amount of muscle stress that's going through, not giving. I know, especially me. Like, I get up and run every morning. The other morning, I ran 5 miles. You get up after doing that, you need proper stretching, or you're going to have muscle aches in your quads, your calves. You're going to be hurting seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm 21. I'd like to say I'm a man, but
I'd like to say something to Alex.
Go ahead.
My last year at Agape, it was really easy. And, when I left, people were talking about it being softer. And the way you're saying stories, it makes it sound like it got a whole lot worse when I left. Because, man.
I was there probably about halfway through.
Oh, yeah?
The infamous Jurassic arm came back.
Oh.
Jurassic elbow.
Yeah.
I'm thankful I wasn't there for him.
Oh,
I've heard stories, and
it's like a bad penny. It always turns up.
And students that would pick on me, they would be like, you should at least be glad you weren't here for Brother Brian because you would be in the restraining room getting the crap beat out of you. And I would just be like, wow, my life's already shitty, and you're telling me my life could be shittier? Like, really? Like, I don't know. It's just ridiculous, man.
I remember one time we had this kid come in. I can't remember his first name. I know everybody called him Meatball. If you're on here and you were there when I was there, you know who Meatball is. This guy decided he was gonna run. We were in the backfield. They have a little fishing pond. You can see the horse barn. So this kid takes off. You see students and everything running out there after him, trying to catch him. Oh, you're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So they bring him back. They finally catch him, and Brian takes this kid downstairs to the intake room, the padded palace, and restrains this kid for probably 3 hours. And I mean, this kid's probably 5'9". You can see his ribs with his shirt on. No muscle, just restrains the hell out of him for running.
Yeah. And they use those pressure points.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're not supposed to use restraining unless you're a threat to staff or to yourself, correct?
Exactly.
I would like to mention one other thing. I've witnessed, there was this new student by the name of Jacob. I'm not going to say his last name, dude. Well, he first got there. His guide gave him push-ups, and he was just like, no, I'm not doing them. And he's like, okay, 20. No. And he was like, you want to go to Brother Jackson? He's going to make you do them. He was like, no. So they go to Brother Jackson, and he's like, do the push-ups or you're going to get restrained. And he literally got restrained for not doing push-ups. And I'll just say this, I don't know what happened in that restraining room, but the intake room in the padded palace is where they do the restraints, and the chapel is like up the stairs from it.
Directly above it.
Yeah.
It's like stacked, so you have right here, then you have
Yeah. And all I could say is I could hear slams, I could hear yelling, but not from the student.
Wow.
That's all I have to say about that.
Mm.
Maybe he got the shit beat out of him. Hopefully,
He probably did.
I hope
He
so.
probably did.
Teach him a lesson. Yeah. Problem is,
You mean the
whenever
staff got his ass beat?
that's what. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Is that what you're saying?
No. All I heard was brother Jackson like yelling at this kid. I just
Oh.
hands on the wall. Yeah, sorry to misword that.
Oh.
Oh, we thought that the kid kicked the staff
Yeah.
member's ass. We're like,
No.
yeah.
That's what it sounded like. That's why I said that. It's like, yeah, I hope he got his ass beat.
A lot of students that were there for brother Jackson, he was the type of staff member you did not want to piss off, and that's why a lot of students.
I remember him.
Yeah, that's why a lot of students either try to get on his good side, and if you're on his bad side, it's over.
That's so weird. I was there when Jackson got there originally, and he was a nice dude. You know, like didn't he like kind of like have like a limp or something like that, and like kind of lie? Is that the same guy?
Yeah, he had a lazy eye. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, Jason, this guy, this staff member, when he got there, he was a nice guy. When he got there with his wife and everything, like the rest of us, like we had no problem with him. He was nice. He was cool. He was. This 10 years later, after being at Agape, sounds like he's a fucking devil.
It gets to their head.
Agape
I believe
changes.
he has his own school now, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Yeah.
Oh.
Jeez.
I
crazy.
never knew the bad side of him. I'm an avid outdoorsman, hunting. I guided professionally. I had multiple conversations with him on the topic, so I couldn't really tell you about his bad side. I did see him go off on several students.
Oh yeah.
Not really, not what I would want. Kind of like, man, you'd be a good drill sergeant.
Agape does change people.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
does.
definitely. If you're there
Seriously.
long enough. But
Yeah.
that's. Oh man.
It teaches fear. They literally bring in fear to people, like, and it unfortunately goes into their adult life, and and it's just unfortunate. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with this guy, Brother Clydence. He was talking about a lot of when he was there about his wife refusing to do anything that they asked, and they're like,
Yeah.
Do you want to see your husband fired? Do you want to live up on the streets? That's how these people are.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have their way, or if you're going against what they want you to do, they'll threaten you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Fear is a perfect way to control somebody.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's a control tactic is what it is.
I mean, even going off that, even in the military, in a combat situation, fear is what wins battles. Fear is what wins wars.
I mean that it can be said for the military. It can be said for, let's say, a boxing match. Why do you think those guys before the boxing match are right together, face to face, intimidating each other? You know, trying to make you fear them. That's what they do. And the guy that's pretty much is scared is probably the one that's going to lose because it's all just a way of controlling. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And they're masters at it. And they're like I've told James, they're sadistic, man. You know, they thrive off of it. They
Oh yeah.
that's what they do.
It's crazy, and it's not just to get the students to comply either, but it's also on the religious side, Jason. On the religious side of things, the way that they explain the Bible, the way they explain God, it's from a fearful way. You know, you're going to go to hell. God's punishing you. Everything time something bad happens in your life, it's because you did something wrong. It's like this fear, and you live in fear. I remember getting out of that school, and every time I did something like hear rock music or something, I was so afraid that God was just going to screw my life up because I just like did something. You know, it's like they use the fear on both sides. So it's I wonder if so many of us come out screwed up from that place. So
yeah. To be honest, like after I left that place, a couple of years, like probably 2 years, like my senior year of high school, like I thought about killing myself every day.
Wait, how old were you when you left Agape?
I was 16, and I'd say after I left, I kind of had that mindset in Agape that you're instilled. And, you know, when I started to realize a lot of the stuff that bothered me and that I had like bottled up inside and that
Mhm.
I acknowledged that they were wrong, I just was depressed all the time. And nothing but suicide would be in my mind. And, you know, I met with a bunch of friends who I was friends with before I got sent there. And they're like, "Oh, Cody, it's great to see you. Where have you been?" And they start to kind of get to know me and they're like, "Something's off about him. Is he all right?" Like, and, you know, like, and there was this girl by the name of Julia who I opened up to about it. And ever since then, I speak out against Agape, you know, and because I don't want this to bottle me up and destroy me. Like,
Yeah.
Like how it has within
You know the old saying: if it does happen, then they win, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like you were saying before, James, and other podcasts. You know, whenever a kid comes out of Agape. Oh, which by the way, did any of your credits transfer, Cody?
Yeah, I
Alex?
did.
They
Oh, did.
I actually graduated at Agape. That was how I got out.
okay.
Oh,
All right.
interesting.
Then
Must have been when their
lo and
accreditation was
behold,
good.
actually, lo and behold, I graduated. Guess what, son? You're not coming home.
What?
Yeah. So I had to wait till I was 18 and said, "Hey, either you're gonna come pick me up or I'm gonna start walking."
Right. Well, like I said,
Oh.
like James, getting back to what I was saying, like James was saying, or what James was, we were talking about in other podcasts. You know, if a student comes out of Agape, they go to, you know, Hiles Anderson College or some sort of Christian college and become successful or whatever. Oh, see what Agape's done. Agape, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will say,
yeah,
there's a video on YouTube. What is it? You might know what I'm talking about. The Agape. They're talking about the school. I believe they have Graves, several other students.
I've
Like
seen
interviews, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
You've seen it was from several years ago, like 2017.
Yeah.
I was there for that. I've never seen one group of people go through so much bullshit to cover something up.
Yeah.
yeah,
They have it displayed. Oh, look at all this healthy food. That's fucking bullshit. These kids smiling.
yeah. That's an act. Yeah,
That's an act. They you see the dean Julio in that picture in that set of video with several students. He has a book open and they're all sitting there talking. That was staged.
Right. I bet, man.
That was staged. That and those were all his right and left hand men.
Yeah.
Students.
No, to mention
that
Julio.
that he was in there with, like,
yeah. What were you
You know-
saying?
Julio. Sorry. Mention
Alright.
Julio. Well, I'm surprised that like nobody has like filed a lawsuit against him about how abusive he was because
do you not? Correct me if I'm wrong. Going off that, when your child is restrained, should that not be documented
Right.
on some type of paperwork?
Yeah.
On some type of paperwork. Hey, this kid was restrained for this reason.
Yeah. You would think so. You would think that there would be some kind of record, especially to keep the school safe.
Sure.
Right? You know, like this kid did this, so we did this, so this, you know, we restrained her for this long, whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't think that maybe they have it somewhere. I doubt it because I don't think they report every restraint that happens.
This is a lead form I have from the Army. Right here, it has my name, my address. You couldn't have something like these check boxes right here.
Yeah.
Say, hey, this is what this kid was restrained for.
Right.
And then right here, it has my name, my signature, all my personal information. Then right here, it has commander's name. You could have the dean's name, maybe Jim Clinton's name, a signature right there.
Right.
All these staff that were witnesses.
Yeah. But that'd be damning to them, though, because
Yes.
how much they've restrained over the years. And if the state looked at that, they'd be like, "Wait, you're telling me that all these kids, every time you restrained them, they were threatening you or to hurt themselves?" something's not right here, you know. So that would come back because like, yeah, I think that would come back to bite them. It'd be helpful for us, you know. It'd be nice to see that, but
they'd be spending a lot. They'd be spending a lot of years at the Gray Bar Hotel. But you know, if a kid, like I said, if a kid comes out of Agape and let's say he becomes a drug addict or he becomes homeless or just another bum, well, he wasn't paying attention. He wasn't following instructions from Agape. So,
He's not following God.
Yeah, he's a lost cause. So
but
either way you look at it,
right. But to what you're saying, like when we talked about this before, if there were so many success stories from Agape, out of the thousands of boys that have gone to it over the last 3-4 decades, right?
Yeah.
All these success stories, how come no adult student man that's out in the real world now has gone back to Agape and done a testimony or done a thing or done whatever saying Agape did me good? You would think they'd have a freaking line out the door of people if they'd done all this good instead of multiple podcasts and multiple interviews and newspapers going against them of the abuse they do. It's like they don't do good. It's like,
yeah,
they paint it out to be, but
yeah,
behind the scenes it's not.
Yeah, definitely not. That's crazy. So now I know we talked about you guys getting there and whatever. Like your transition out into the real world, I
would love to talk about this right here.
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear about from both of you on this one. Yeah.
This I'm going to cover something else first. You have a school. When I was there were kids that were there for, probably 7, 4, 5 years. You have a kid that has not been in the real world. They don't let you watch the news. You don't know what's going on. Only thing you know is what your parents tell you.
Mm-hmm.
If you even get that letter.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have this kid coming into the real world, went in at 15, comes out at 18, has no idea on how to actually manage a bank account. He has you're setting these kids up for failure.
Right. And also no driver's license. So most kids get their driver's license at 16, right? No driving experience, no driver's license. You're right, yeah. Don't know how to balance a checkbook. Don't know taxes. Don't know anything. You're not taught any real world stuff at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel you. So that's crazy.
Anyway,
so you experienced that?
Not really, not me. No, I got out. I went to work for Coca-Cola bottling company.
Nice.
In Ridgeland, South Carolina. I was a shift supervisor. I was a forklift driver. I was living with my grandparents at that point. My grandparents are the one that sent me there. My granddaddy's an independent Baptist preacher. Lived with them, yes, for several years of my life. Went to see my dad up in the mountains for Thanksgiving. Was talking with him. And I was like, it's not working out down there. You're not. This isn't right. So moved up there, and I became a manager at a ski resort. That of course, you can't run a ski resort all year long, especially in the mountains.
Right, it's seasonal. Yeah.
Yes. So did that for a little while. Went to worked at a grading company, guided duck and turkey hunts full time. On the side from that, was making bank doing that. Got out, stopped doing that. Just what am I doing with my life? I wanted to do something better. So now I'm in the Army. Been in the Army about over a year and a half, and I will say, these kids that are still in there have my pity.
Oh yeah.
I can't imagine being. I remember when I was there, I wrote my mom a letter talking about missing home and whatnot, and I remembered some lyrics that Eric Church, a country singer, had in one of his songs, And I wrote those down. I got that letter back. Said you can't send this because it has these lyrics in it.
Rock music, man.
That song, you can look it up. There's nothing wrong with it. Eric Church, I believe the song's name is Carolina. Caroline. Oh, Carolina, you're calling me home. What's wrong?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, they probably thought you were going to run or something. They probably interpreted it as some bullshit.
Well, I could tell you what was wrong with it. You didn't say Agape is a great place and I found Jesus and they're doing a great job. That's
Yeah, and keep me here till I graduate, please, Mom.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Cody, how was when you got out? How you doing?
Okay. I'm doing good. I'd say right now, at my point, all aspects of my life are good. When I first got out of Agape, I was confused on how I would conduct myself in the world. I could barely even talk to a girl. That's how confused it was. Like my parents sent me to a private school, kept me kind of secluded because they were afraid that I was gonna fuck up again. And I did fuck up a couple times, until I was 18. But I took responsibility for it. And I'd say everything's good. I mean, I just want to have some closure with a lot of stuff that I experienced there. And actually, I'm about to mention something that is pretty serious. 3 years ago, with all this Me Too movement, it got me thinking, and I was thinking about a time when I was sexually assaulted at Agape. And I'm going to say the story. I was coming back from a home visit in 2013. It was a day after the Boston bombing. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Yes.
So I come back, and Bailey, who you had on the show, was with me. And so a staff member drives us back, and we get back, and someone by the name of Oscar, who is their poster child, he came back on staff there, and he comes and checks me back in the dorm. He searches me, and I was telling him a story about how I wrote a letter to a girl. And after that, he starts grabbing me, puts me on the bed, starts dry humping me uncontrollably, and it made me feel like confused. I felt like, what the fuck just happened? And a couple weeks later, Bailey, as he said on your podcast, he's a pretty goofy guy. He teases people, and one of them was about teasing me about being gay because he would sometimes mess with me, And I was like, "What about your friend Oscar? Is he gay?" Because what he did to me. And he was like, "Dude, I don't even know how to describe that, but that was really gay."
Bailey was there when that happened?
Yeah, Bailey witnessed it.
And this Oscar guy was staff at the time?
Yeah, and he's their model student of, hey, look at what he's become. He was a gang member. He was this, he was that, but now he's serving the Lord. And, it just bothered. I'm sorry.
That's okay, dude. That's
I
crazy.
want to cover off something like that while I was there. There was one student by the name of Carter, was gay, and him and this other student were caught sucking each other off in the showers. So your role staff member, Julio, rips these two out of the shower buck-ass nude and is restraining them.
While they're naked?
Yes.
You restrained two guys at once?
Well, I will correct myself. I believe at this point they had boxers or something on.
Okay.
But
him
and the other staff members were restraining them. Where are you gonna put that on this file?
Yeah.
We restrain them for this. How's that gonna look?
Right.
Yeah.
We yanked him out of the shower.
Still, you're both underage, but
Jesus.
Yeah. But yeah, and Cody, sorry, I'd like to go back into it. How old were you when this happened? You said you got back from a home visit?
Yeah, I was 15, and it happened a day after the Boston bombing. And, I didn't really say anything about it, like, to anybody, except for that one time to Bailey when I was like, what about your friend Oscar? Is he gay? He was like, I don't know how to describe that, but that was really fucking gay.
Is that the only thing that like happened with that Oscar guy, or did he do that to other people? Like what?
I talked to a student. I'm going to leave his name. I don't want to mention him.
Yeah.
But he mentioned that he did that to him as well. And I also heard some rumors that he might have done a lot of gay stuff with other students. And yeah, that's all I know. I can't speak for other students, but that's what happened.
Yeah.
And I have a witness that was right there.
Like I said in the other podcast, James, these independent fundamental Baptists, man, not all of them.
Right.
Some of them are good people.
Right.
But some of them just give off this creepy, pedophile vibe. You can see it in their eyes. I call it rapey eyes, is what I call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they make you uncomfortable just looking at you.
Yeah.
And
they're the most powerful people.
Yeah. And the thing is, that some of the most powerful pastors and preachers of the Baptist church, who you think, they're in high levels, they're straight and narrow. No, they're screwing little boys and.
Yeah. And that's what's happening with this. Like, Agape's had such a like ominous presence in this industry for so long. But now that like everyone's speaking out about it, and props to you guys for coming forward and speaking up and doing this, because it takes balls, man. Like bringing up all these emotions that you've locked away for a decade, or less, whatever. But and rehashing them to try to help the kids out that are there now. Like seriously, it's super brave of you guys to do this.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to see other kids going through it, and I guarantee after the time I left and right now, there's kids going through the same bullshit. And and I think parents should be aware of this.
Yeah.
These things go on here, and they cover them up and make it seem like nothing's going on,
Right.
And,
yeah.
What time is it right now? It's about 4:00. Yeah. I guarantee you within the next 2 hours, somebody will probably get restrained at Agape.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not going to be documented on any paper.
No.
The parents are not going to know about it, because when the student on their phone call tries to talk about it, the dean is going to call back and say that never happened. That's utter bullshit. When they try to write a letter, then women up there at the front desk are going to send that letter back, and the dean is going to see it, Brian's going to see it, and they're going to be like, brown shirt.
That's another thing.
Yep.
The women, they see this stuff happening, and they're just as complicit as the male staff for not reporting it.
Not defending them by any means, but just that whole cultish, whatever you want to call it, that IFB mentality. The women are submissive to the man. The women are quiet. The women don't say anything. They don't speak up. Like the way that they have it set up at Agape is perfect. I'm sure the women would say something. They would do something, but they're taught. They're spoken down to. They're suppressed. To not say anything, not stand up for themselves, not speak up. And so it's like it's a perfect storm, man, for these guys to get away with whatever they want to do and not have their spouses say anything.
There's a staff
member. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
There's a staff member. I'm not going to name his name because me and him are relatively close. I invited this man. He left the school and was doing something completely different. I invited him to North Carolina to do a bear hunt with me. I told him, hey, come out here. I got land. Come kill yourself a bear and have that trophy,
Yeah.
I was talking with this particular person, and he said this was probably 2018, 2019, somewhere along in that time frame. He said Agape has gone to utter shit. Mm-hmm. He said it's just getting worse and worse, and you'll never believe who he said was the root of the problem. Brian.
He's always been.
Yeah.
That's why he left. That's why he got fired.
More than once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's like they keep kicking him out because he fucks things up, and then they bring him back, give him another chance, and then ruins it again. It's like, you know.
I was talking to a staff member the other day that I'm relatively talked to every once in a while. Just kind of try to keep tabs on people in the past, like, hey, how are you doing? You know.
Yeah.
Especially with some of the experiences I've had in the Army, people just shutting off and blowing their brains out, whatnot.
Yeah.
This guy said that all this publication Agape's getting in the news is going unchecked. They're not saying anything about it in the school. They're just acting like nothing's happening. And maybe there's something going on underneath. Oh, we got to cover this up. We got to cover this up, because I know they do have to sign a form?
Yeah,
to not talk about it.
Yeah, NDS, whatever. NDA, yeah. Yep.
But
yeah. Oh
the
man.
amount. I remember I saw this page when I got out in 2018. The movement has grown so much.
Yeah.
And it actually makes me happy to see it. I kind of keep to the distance, just kind of watch from a distance, sit on the hill and watch. But this is one of those things you can't sit on a hill and just watch as one team loses, you know.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. And then the thing that like gets me is like Agape and schools like Agape, right? Not the way they do things, but they have a potential to do some real good in this world. You know, they're bringing us boys in that have issues. We need help. We need some genuine help when we go to these schools, and they have the potential, the opportunity to drastically change thousands of kids' lives and trajectory in life to improve it, and they don't. And they just end up fucking us up more and putting us back out in the world after they made a couple $100,000, you know. And it's like, but they had that opportunity, and that just pisses me off so bad. Hearing these stories about, like, you know, a decade later, you're still dealing with shit that you went through, had that Agape that happened to you. You know.
And the thing is, even if you did have that form, you sign here where you were restrained. The student has to sign saying everything here is true.
Right.
With the mentality that school has right now, and the select staff members it has, if this kid did not sign right here, he's going to get restrained.
Right. Again. And not have it documented.
Yeah. You know? And so eventually it's just going to be a big fucking lie.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
What were you going to say, Cody?
Oh yeah, it was about the staff woman, right?
Yeah.
About how they keep quiet. And I'm also going to mention this, Brother Clydence's wife. She was talking about, I think it was on Agape Homies chat or live. She was talking about how she didn't want to conform or comply with what they wanted to do, and they fired him. They fired Brother Clydence, and you know, and they don't sign the NDA, and they're always struggling every day, like getting threatened by this school to shut up when they didn't sign this NDA for them because they want to cover up shit.
One of the red flags is, why would you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement if you're helping kids?
So it doesn't make them look bad.
No, it doesn't make them look good at all.
Yeah.
You're going to be seeing some stuff in this school, so we want you to sign this. That way you don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Instead of doing background checks on the staff, instead of trying to protect the students by making sure they're bringing in a good staff member, a good, wholesome person to oversee the students, they're trying to protect the school by saying, okay, we want to make sure you can't go back and say what we're doing here to the world. It should be the other way around, where you're providing a background check, references, you know, like a history of working with children, like certifications, you know, that you should be doing that instead of worrying about having them sign an NDA just to keep yourself, you know, it's like fucking stupid.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Man. I was so pissed off over this stuff. Like, I'm like, it's probably only like 70 degrees in here, but I'm just like sweating talking about this stuff. Like,
Yeah, I remember this kid, Lee. I cannot remember what his last name was. 14 years old, chubby kid, overweight. Everybody picked on this kid. The dean of students, Brian picked on this kid. All these staff members picked on this kid. They let the students beat this kid up on the daily just because he was 14 and ADHD, just happy to be alive, you know?
yeah.
Just,
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah.
Speaking of that, I recall when I first got there, I told Joe that I was bullied a lot by students. I got punched in the face. I got punched in the stomach. I've got kicked in the balls while I was there. And a lot of times, Brother Jackson would be like, you know, if there's anything you need to tell or say, come to me. And I would tell him this stuff, and nothing would ever be done about it. I actually remember one time writing a note to him, and he called up the student and had a laugh with him, and he went to sit down.
Wow.
And I was just like, really? Like, you know, and also the protection for those students is very little.
Yeah.
And the neglection is just at an all-time high.
Yeah. It's crazy because, I mean, the staff, they're supposed to be looking over all the students, right? And you're a little kid, man. You're like, man, this guy he just picked on me, you know? So you tell the staff member, the authority, the parental figure in your life, you're like, hey, man, he just picked on me. You know, you're probably sitting there like, okay, look, justice is going to be served.
No.
They're going to do something about it.
No.
They're all laughing about it, and nothing happens. It's like, you know, where's your faith lie in them now, you know?
I remember they had that Marine recruiter there that always came trying to get students to enlist.
Yeah.
I asked him one day, I said, hey, why doesn't the Army or the Air Force or the Navy, Coast Guard, anything like that come out here? He said, because they won't touch this place because it's so fucked up.
Yeah.
No way. Wow. I was this close to joining the Marines too. I sat down with them. I took the test or whatever that was. But I was just like, hell no. I nothing against the military, but I just spent 4 years away from being home. I want to go back home. I don't spend another 4 years, you know, but yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that the other branch of the military wouldn't touch that place.
Yeah, he said the Army, Marines, the Army, Air Force, Navy, they won't touch it. I even when I was there was this kid that was still in there. I kind of talked to his mom. He was actually his name Lucas. I believe y'all did an interview with him a while back. When he was still in, I kept up with his mom, like, hey, how's Lucas doing? Blah blah blah. I actually tried to get him to join because, you know, when you get out there, you go in, you're 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to help this kid get out of there sooner, you know?
Yeah. Dang.
The idea that an Army recruiter in Clemson, South Carolina, would have to recruit a kid in middle of nowhere, Stockton, Missouri, because the Army won't touch that place, the ones there.
So they see through the bullshit.
Yeah. They probably know what's up. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Damn. I'm glad you guys are doing good. Like, seriously. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, that's all the negative hearing about it. Like, and no thanks to Agape by any means, but I'm glad that you guys are doing good in life. Like, it's always sad when you like do these podcasts and you talk to someone, and it's just rough when they're still really struggling in life and they haven't really coped and made it through. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are doing well.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing well too, Jason.
I'm hanging in there. I'm doing great.
He's over there in his own little world.
Oh yeah. Hey, it's warmed up over here, so it's in the low 30s. Believe me, that's a heat wave over here. Trust me. People are riding their motorcycles out there with short sleeve shirts on. Oh yeah.
I know. The other day, a few weeks ago, we had 10 days off because of the cold front that came through. And
Yes.
I was like, you know
Oh
what?
yeah.
I wonder what the weather's like up in Stockton, Missouri.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I got on my phone, looked it up, -6.
Mm.
And it was snowing. I guarantee you, the next morning, if it's anything like when I was there, they had kids go out and shovel snow so the ladies could make it in safe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They did the snow shoveling when y'all were there.
Oh yeah, they did. There was actually one time where literally, I think it was on a Sunday, right before church, they had a crew come out, and we literally shoveled the whole parking lot where the guests would park, and you know,
They have a maintenance team there.
yeah,
The maintenance team not
Free
get
work.
their sorry asses out there
No.
and do that shit because now you have kids risking falling, doing that, getting hurt. And
Why
then it's
doing
going to
it?
take so long to get these kids to medical attention.
you know why do it when you have kids that can do it for free labor?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It doesn't happen anywhere else but at Agape.
Yeah.
Nothing happens in the world but at Agape. They're
I
not
mean,
their
even
own
the other
world.
day when it was snowing out here, they wouldn't let us go out.
Right.
They didn't
I'm a
have us
plumber.
go out there and shovel snow in the Army. They had somebody else come in and do it.
I'm a plumber. We didn't even work for 3 days, and honestly, I didn't even think I'd be on this podcast because in Texas, there's a lot of freeze breaks in the pipes, and I've been working 9 straight days, and it's just been
Yeah.
tough.
Oh,
Yeah, but at Agape, like I remember it was snowing outside, right? And we still go do our work crews. And you just, I don't know how it was with you guys there, but for us, like unless your family sent you work gloves, like you were having to use bare hands to haul rocks to work out in the snow below freezing temperatures. And like
we hauled rocks when I was at Agape for nothing.
Yeah,
yeah, yep,
In 2017, they were hauling rocks out there.
damn, they're probably still doing it now.
In the middle of July in the Midwest. You
Yeah.
come in, I believe one of the podcasts I was watching, everybody rushes in to get some water. Like, no, get away. Dehydration.
Yep.
yep,
And
Yeah.
that's a dangerous thing right there. Dehydration.
yeah. I remember
Tell-
kids would pass out
Yep.
from
Yeah.
like not having water. They'd pass out, and the staff would come pick them up and start dragging them like along. Like if they pass out from like walking with the rocks, or whatever, the staff would pick them up and like put them in push-up position or drag them along the ground, like because they passed out because they were needing water or dehydration
Yeah.
or whatever. It's like
I mean, up there.
I believe I even still have it right here.
I mean, even in Missouri,
Yeah,
during the heat, I mean, I know the Texas heat, so I know what you guys
Yeah.
are talking about. But even the Missouri heat's hotter than Satan's ass out there. You know
yeah,
what I
and
mean?
humidity is
Oh, yeah.
like 100%.
Yeah.
It's like it's
it's
insane.
retarded.
Yeah.
Like literally on the coldest day, it'll get into the negatives, but during the summer,
Sure.
it gets nearly 100.
I mean,
like,
It was 110.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even in Georgia, in Fort Benning,
I mean,
these kids,
even up here in
these kids are
Wisconsin,
wearing, yeah.
up here in Wisconsin, it gets to 90, 100 degrees during the summer. So, you know, but not a lot of humidity, but, you know, yeah, Missouri, it's freaking hot, man. It's
Yeah.
hot.
it's really hot.
Like, give these kids a Camelback or something, you know?
Right. Something, dude.
Something
I
to.
don't know when y'all were there, but during rock hauling crews, they would have like a garden hose, and they would
Oh yeah.
like probably every hour they would do it, and literally you only had like 10 seconds to drink water, and they'd be like, "Okay, you have enough. Have it for the
Yep.
next student." That's exactly how it was when I was there.
Wow.
And if they didn't like you, like I remember there's some kids that were all in trouble or not in favor of the staff, they would get less time with the water or get no water.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, oh, you weren't working hard enough, you don't get any water. When they were just out there sweating like everybody else, you know. And
yeah,
I think the worst was the kids. I don't know about you guys, but there'd be in the summertime where the kids were on suicide watch. So they'd be in these like thick wool bathrobes. Granted, they're just wearing their underwear underneath that, but they'd be in these really thick bathrobes, sweating their asses off in
Yeah.
like 100-degree weather, hauling rocks, like in like these thick wool. It's like, what the fuck, man? Like, I'm
telling you.
like you said, Jason, before. I'm surprised someone hasn't died yet.
Yeah.
Thank God they haven't.
The
But
thing is, I mean, I've worked out in Louisiana and Florida, and when it gets hot and you get dehydrated, you can die, man. I mean, your organs will shut down. When
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
when you come to the point where you're not sweating anymore, even though it's really hot outside,
Yeah.
you better get some water in you real quick, because
Yeah.
you could die from dehydration. I'm sure Alex knows you could die from dehydration, man. That's why the
Yep.
Army, or the military, I should say, the military tells you drink water, drink water, drink water, keep yourself
Right.
hydrated.
In fact, you got a headache, go to a medic, they say drink water. Legs hurting, drink water.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first week there, I got a concussion. And I'm pretty sure because I got slammed on my head by Oscar and my first guide. And I go to Brother Dumore, and he's like,
Wait,
you'll
your
be
guy
fine.
slammed you?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah, we were wrestling and
Oh.
on the wrestling mat, and he literally slams me on my head, and I go to Brother Dumore, and I'm like, hey, I think I have a concussion. My head hurts every time I move. Like, it just felt really uncomfortable, and he was like, oh, you'll be fine.
Do you know if Dumar is an actual like doctor or RN or EMT?
No, he's
certified?
not. No, I've asked him if he was a doctor. He's like, I'm not a doctor. And I'm just like, people would always laugh and call him Dr. Dumore, and no, he's not a doctor.
So you mean, wait, I didn't even realize this. You mean that school does not have a certified EMT, and we call it CLS? Anything?
I don't think so. He told me he wasn't a doctor. I know Graves was an EMT while I was there, but,
Well, if you consider clown college, some sort of,
Yeah.
You know what's funny about Graves is I forgot to mention this. My last year at Agape, because my parents actually sent me or allowed me to go on a month visit to basically test me, and obviously they said you gotta stay at Agape another year. And Graves literally, like, I just wanted to get my schoolwork done and just get out the program. And jokingly enough, I applied for corporal, and I became a sergeant major. 2 weeks later, lieutenant. Month later, captain. And I felt like I was on this pedestal that you put me on, saying, "Hey, look at our star student," and and I just didn't deserve it. But hey, I became it. It's the reason why I got it.
You know what's insane? All these star students they had when I was there. I'm not going to name their names for reasons, but I'd say at least 5 of Julio's star students. One of them is in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, he's been in jail for months.
Yep.
The other one just got out of jail. And I keep up with them sometimes on social media. They're just potheads.
Yeah.
If you're going to send your son to school, to this school to get closer to God, this ain't the school.
And I forgot to mention Julio too. Julio actually had a way with the students. Like, he'll become cool with you and show you a side. He'll let you listen to music. There was one time where I was on a work crew. He let us listen to hip hop. He let us watch rated R movies, have candy. He's talking to us like normal human beings. But a week later, I'm singing Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day, and he writes me up. And I'm like,
Yeah.
And also, I'm surprised this man hasn't caught a lawsuit or a charge, because this man has hit me in the stomach a couple times. I've witnessed him physically harm students. He even had his son, when we're in a closeted room with other students, his son punched me in the stomach, and I was defenseless. I couldn't hit him back.
His older son?
Yeah, at the time.
Julio, right?
Yeah, Julio.
Here you go. Here you go. His older son.
Yeah.
Right now, Cedar County Sheriff's Office that Graves works for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Guess where his son works at?
There.
I wonder how he got in.
No way. Interesting. I didn't know that one.
Look, I'll send you. I'll probably message it to you. Look on his Facebook. Guess where he works at? Cedar County Sheriff's Office. How did he get in there?
I wonder.
Graves. Yeah, Graves. Man.
Because you have a school connected to the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
They're literally paying the sheriff's deputies to work there.
Right, at Agape.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex, James, I don't know if you're aware of this with Graves, but this just came out on Agape Homies. This random guy who was on Dr. Phil, he told me the reason why his brother went on staff, Graves' brother, Robert, is because he was sexually molesting and grooming a girl at the age of 7 from 16. And then when he gets caught and about to get in trouble, Graves protects him and sends him to Agape with a bunch of students, with kids trying to get their life back on track.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't this Agape on Dateline recently?
Yes.
They mentioned it. They mentioned
it, but it was actually Circle of Hope.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was about Circle of
you
Hope,
said
but they
Agape
mentioned
was
Agape in
on
it.
one of the staff members was on Dr. Phil.
Yeah, he was, and he said that the brother of Brother Graves, Robert, his brother sexually and groomed a girl from the ages of 7 to 16. And when this stuff was going down, Robert protected him and sent him to be a staff member at Agape. And I was there when he was there. He sends a child molester to a student while I'm there, and multiple students. Like,
Is this Graves' brother, David?
Yeah, David. He worked night shift most of the time.
Sorry, Jason. I know we're getting first last name.
I knew when he first got there was something off about him. Like,
That's weird. He worked there for a snippet when I was there too.
really?
Yeah, David came through. I'll just say his first thing. Yeah, I remember he tall, skinny guy, right? What kind of tall? Not really too tall, but skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, tall to me. I'm only 5'9", so. But yeah, that is so disturbing, man. As someone that has.
His wife even admitted it. That's the fucked up part about it. When that.
Jeez, dude.
I heard a rumor while I was there that what's the name of that girls' school they have right down the road? Circle of Hope.
Wings of Faith.
Wings of Faith.
Wings of Faith. I was told that Agape students used to go there on work crews or whatnot.
Yeah.
And they stopped doing that because Agape students and Wings of Faith students were caught having sexual relations together.
Well, no shit.
Wow. Shocker. What a shocker that is, right?
You take a bunch of like pubescent boys and lock them together with no interaction with females whatsoever while they're going through puberty and stuff. And all of a sudden you introduce women into the mix, you know, and we've also gone through the same thing on their side. It's like,
what did they expect?
I know, right? To join together in Christ and have a holy, you know, it's like, no, come on, man.
Yeah.
Sting Kumbaya around the campfire.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
I'm curious. You were saying something about being on Dr. Phil. Like,
yeah, there was a guy.
Look it up.
Yeah, it's on Agape Homies. There was a guy. He was like, "Hey, you might know me from Dr. Phil," but he was talking about having a friendship with David, and him admitting to him that he's a pedophile.
Yeah.
And that Robert Graves,
Alleged pedophile.
Yes.
Alleged
pedophile.
Yeah.
And him admitting that to him, and Robert allegedly covering it up and protecting his brother and sending him to Agape to come on staff with us students. While I was there. He was there while I was there.
Wow.
And
sad state of affairs, gentlemen. Sad state of affairs.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. It just like I said before, you know, you think you go down the rabbit hole, and just when you think you've got to the bottom, they dig a tunnel into another hole and keep going down.
Yeah.
There's no end. There's no bottom to this.
No.
You know. So
there is a God, they'll have justice.
Yeah, straight up. And it's I was just thinking about this too, Jason. We have the 3 generations here, right? We got 20 years ago, 10 years ago with Cody, and then Alex just got out like 3 years ago, right? Or 2 years ago.
3 or 4.
Yeah. So it's like it's just the same shit still happening, you know, like if anyone watching this, just
Oh,
the
yeah.
same stuff that's been going on. It's not changing.
No.
It's not, it's
Not
you're
at all.
Cody's sharing the same stuff that Alex is sharing. That's went going on. It's just
And the information that I've showed y'all, that's only a little bit. Like, if y'all ever want me on this podcast, you can text me and reach out to me. But I have a lot more. I can tell many stories that happened while I was there that are just unacceptable, and they need to be exposed.
yeah.
I remember exposing. Let's see. There was this one lady. I was actually talking with this staff member one time while I was there. This student and one of the lunch lady, the girl they had that ran the food and whatnot, was caught having sex with one of the students in the freezer.
Trey Harmon.
And even one of the staff members was talking about it.
Oh.
Older staff member, man in his 60s.
I mean,
Wow.
That's disgusting, but that's actually pretty amazing at the same time because those freezers were cold as fuck. to get it in there to do something like that, oh my gosh! And was this do you know if this girl was she another staff child or was it one of the staff members, like the adults?
So it's all just a big family. You have probably 3 different families and they're all related somehow.
Right.
So she was one of the family staff members. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, was it a minor as well, or was it an adult with?
No, she was in her 30s.
Oh.
Okay, there you go. That's what I'm trying to get at. Damn.
Yeah, to that woman, shame on you. To that kid.
With a 16-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Every time I think about the freezer, I think of freezer time with Brother Lopez. You probably got some students that mentioned it, but there was this one time, I think it was my last month at Agape. They have some candy in the pantry, if you don't remember, for the pancakes in the mornings. And I used to have this rubber glove, and I would sneak some back into the dorm. Well, Brother Lopez caught me one day, and he was like, "Canifax, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Uh-oh." So he talks to me, and he's like, "We can either do 2 things. We can go to Mr. Jackson, or you can get freezer time." And I was like, "I'll do freezer time because I'm about to go home, and anything that could ruin my chances, I'll take." So
Yeah.
we go into the freezer, and for probably 30 seconds, Brother Lopez is a big guy, so you'd turn off the lights, and he'd go 1,000, slap you on the back really hard. 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000 to 30, and then he would knee you, and I couldn't walk after that.
Lopez.
I didn't find it abuse at the time, but looking back on
What the fuck?
yeah,
You said this guy's name was Lopez, right?
yeah, Brother Lopez, he worked in the kitchen. Yeah,
Oh,
So
I
that
think
that woman I was talking about,
yeah.
that's her husband.
Oh, really?
I think that's what the guys on the last podcast were talking about. He was sending dick pics to the girls from the Wings of Faith.
God.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so maybe she learned about the freezer
tall,
from him.
6'1", 6'2",
And what-
300-pound man. Yeah.
Yeah, what Colton
That's this woman's
right,
husband.
and what Colton said, he was dealing with a baby carrot. I'll leave it at that. But
Oh my god.
I wonder if those pictures will ever leak ever.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I need
If
to go,
anyone in
go
their right
laugh.
mind would probably delete those right away, but
No.
but I cannot believe that. So he brought you into the freezer where it's cold as hell and started slapping you in the back. So every
Yeah, it really
second was a
was.
slap in the back and then a knee in the dark.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. And other students, I believe, you remember Columbo? He also mentioned that. He'll tell you the same thing. He slaps you in the back like that really hard to 30, and then he knees you the fuck out of you to the point where you can't fucking walk. And, I didn't know what to think of it. I didn't find
Right.
it abuse because Brother Lopez never gave me issues, but looking back on it, it's fucked up.
Right.
Yeah.
No
I mean,
child.
in your mind, you're like, I want to get out of this place.
Yeah.
If I'm brought to Brother Jackson, it's going to ruin my chances of going home or go through this physical abuse, which at the time you didn't think. You're taking the easier way out to get out of Agape.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Damn,
guys, yeah, it's been an hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But
good.
that was good. That was good.
I mean, well, shitty but good.
So new information always comes out on these podcasts. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of information. If you ever want me back on the show,
Sure.
just text me, man.
Yeah. Usually when we do the talk sessions, we invite a bunch of guys.
Oh yeah.
On. So yeah, we'll have to do another one. So
For sure.
Oh, yeah, man.
But thank you, Alex, Cody, for coming on.
Oh,
yeah.
no problem.
Appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you guys. Seriously.
Yes. You too,
Yeah.
Griffey. Appreciate
Hey,
you, man.
However I can help. Seriously. Dude, I feel like I need to go punch a wall or something right now. Hearing all that stuff.
I don't know, man. Here with some of these staff members, you feel like I gotta go take a shower, man. I feel dirty.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Maybe that's a better thing to do.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
but thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And with
Seriously.
with the legislation going on, hopefully, the dream comes true. And the only problem with that, if they do shut them down, there's 21 other states that they can go to.
Yeah.
And they got so much money, they can just pack up and leave and go to another state and continue the cycle all over again. That's
Yeah,
the
like
sad part.
they'll probably go to South Carolina, where I'm from, and
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's out there now, and
Yeah.
there's multiple. Like there's stuff happening in Utah. It's happening in multiple states right now where they're finally cracking down on these schools overall. So and they're getting national coverage. It's going to get to the point there's nowhere to hide, and no one's going to take them in. But this will be a small win once we get this passed.
With Agape, it only took 30 years. So I guess we're on the right track.
Yeah, but with Agape, no one was speaking out. Like before there'd be like one or two people that were trying. Now, like there's this momentum going, and generations are coming forward to speak out about Agape.
Yeah.
So it's like things are finally happening, and the movement really started only just recent. Like last year is really when it got momentum, and everyone else is like stepping up to do their part. So it's not 30 years of it operating, but I think really about a year of solid work to get the message across to the government and have something happen.
All right.
Anyways.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
So yeah, that's fine. So like I said, you guys stay on the line for a few seconds after I end the podcast here. I want to thank everybody for coming on. I want to thank Alex and Cody for coming on.
Oh yeah.
And giving this story.
Of course.
I really appreciate it. James Griffey, you too as well. You're invaluable, man. Invaluable. So
Thank you, sir.
But if you want to help support the podcast, please subscribe to the channel. If you want to leave a small token of your esteem, I have a PayPal. It's on top of the right-hand corner, top of the channel page. It's always welcome. You'll never hear me say no. But for the Hammer Podcast, I'm Jason. You take care of yourself. You take care of each other. We'll see you next time. All right. Yeah.